Hello and welcome to Ask the Crown. I'm Stephanie McGrain, International Super Ms. And so excited to have with us today Kim Poulin, today's American Woman, Queen of Queens. Now, Kim's story is an amazing one of overcoming obstacles and challenges and how pageantry changed her life. Now, Kim, tell us, your challenges began when you were just 2 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. When I was 2 years old, I fell into a lawnmower. It was a riding lawnmower, and the blades caught my body into it. So I was actually held up for about an hour until they could get me out of the machine by my father. And then for 3 years, I lived at Shriners while various limbs were reattached to my body. So I was left with pins in my left hand and a leg that would not move. So I had a very severe limp for many years.
Oh my goodness, so much to go through at such a young age.
Yes.
And you also faced abuse beyond typical bullying, is that correct?
Absolutely. Because of the amount of scarring I had and the strange, the children would say, type of accident, falling into a lawnmower is not your typical accident. And because of the nature of the accident and the amount of damage to my body, kids just felt I was an easy target to bully. And when I was younger, I would cry. And when you cry, when you're being bullied, people will pick on you more. So when middle school came and hormones came, I went from crying to being combative, and that drew more attention. And then high school came, and I just threw my hands in the air and said, I absolutely give up. I can't win. People don't want to be my friends. They think I'm weird. And I left school. But when I left with a purpose that I was going to someday come back to schools. And when I did, it would be to make sure that nobody ever went through what I went through again.
Well, I love that you used your experiences and now you're making a difference in changing the lives of others. So tell us how you first got involved with pageantry.
I overheard a couple girls talking, and they went to John Casablancas, and they were talking about how they were doing a pageant, Massachusetts' Most Beautiful Teen. And I said, wow, that sounds really exciting. I would love to do that. Could I do something like that? And they said, oh, of course not. You limp. And so this was the crying period of the bullying phases that I went through, and I went home and cried on my dad's shoulder. My dad raised me, and he just said absolutely not. So he grabbed two of his female friends. They went to the mall. They bought what they thought was the right things. Of course, everything was wrong, gloves and a short dress, but his heart was in the right place. And he entered me into the pageant. I competed. I didn't win. I was first runner-up, but the girl that said there's no way I could win, she didn't place. And the bug bit. And I said, pageants, they looked at me in interview, and they looked at me in swimsuit, and they looked at me in beauty, and maybe I didn't score that high in swimsuit, but I scored excellent in interview, and I scored excellent in evening gown, and I scored excellent in photogenic and casual wear. So those scores made up for it. Though pageantry, they're looking at the whole picture. Wait a minute now. They're not just looking at my knee. They're not looking at the way I walk and that I limp. They're looking at all of me. I like this. And so that was the beginning, and I was hooked, and I just entered pageant after pageant as much as my dad would let me.
Oh, that is wonderful. And so you feel as though pageantry really changed your life then?
Absolutely. I felt like the people I met through pageants, this wonderful lady, Bonnie Onchman, she's from Massachusetts, she became a mentor to me. She was a judge at the first pageant I ever competed in, and I was 14, and I was in that combative middle school type age where I just wanted to fight with the world because the world was fighting against me, I felt. And she gave me alternatives. She said, when you get angry, instead of fighting, think about something you can do. And I'll never forget, there was a fire. We had just talked about that, and there was a fire, and it wiped out like half of Ware, Massachusetts. And I said, Bonnie, let's go and do a charity fundraiser for the town because they're really suffering, and I know what it feels like. And so we went and did the charity and raised money for the businesses to rebuild themselves. So she took my anger, and she and other people were able to make it into something positive. And that was one of the steps that I went through to try to get out of feeling like a victim.
Well, I love how you're taking that and making such a difference and using it in such a positive way. And tell us a little bit more about your platform, Ta-da, totally accepting different abilities. Now, that helps others who are facing bullying. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's actually for anybody who feels different. Every single person in this world is different. I just walk slower because I have a disability. My leg doesn't bend the way it should, so I have to walk slower. When I compete, I have to adjust the way I walk. Everybody breathes, but some people have breathing tubes, and I can go on and tell you all the different ways that people do things. People dress differently. People have different loves. Some men love men. Some women love women, and that is all okay. It's just differences, and it's the differences that we all have that make us special and unique. And so if we could learn to look at people's differences not as a negative but as a positive, as what's good about that person, as what makes them fun and what makes them someone you want to be around, then you have a ta-da moment and you have made a new friend and you've learned to accept yourself and you've learned to accept another person. So the whole picture of Ta-da is really not just accepting yourself or overcoming a disability, but accepting you and accepting others, because everybody is different. So.
Such an important message for everyone. And imagine what a different world it would be if we could all embrace that philosophy.
That's my hope. That is my hope, that if I could get the lesson plans that I've designed into every school district, that we could start to look at each other and say, this person likes this kind of music, this person likes these types of clothes, and it's all okay because that's why they're special. That's what I love about them. And instead of everybody being so judgmental, and especially with middle schoolers and high schoolers. And we really need to reach that group, because when we don't reach that group, the words that they hear, they never forget. And it's those people that we see years from now committing the crimes that are on television with the schools and the bombings and all of these tragedies that we're seeing that are so sad. But those people were bullied if you look at their history. And we need to stop it. Stop the bullying and stop those and identify and help those people before it gets to the point where they react. So there's loads of steps that you can take before you get to that point, and people that you can find that can help you before you get to the point where you feel so alone that you're just going to do a humongous lash out on the world and really impact negatively a lot of people that you probably don't even know. So getting rid of bullying really starts with individuals, kids, and what they're going through, and then trying to match them up with somebody that can help them. Like I had Bonnie, and then once you stop the anger, then you can prevent the future things that are going to happen and that we see so much happening in our society.
Right, and I agree with you. I think it's so important to get the message out to kids at a young age. So I think that's great that you're working with kids in elementary school, middle school, even high school. Now, Kim, tell us, what is your message to others who feel that they cannot compete in pageants due to the challenges they are facing? What would you say to them?
Take your challenge and run with it. If your mind can conceive it and in your heart you believe it, you will achieve it. Whatever your goal is, picture yourself with the crown on your head. The very end of the day, you're the one that gets the crown. Picture yourself there and know that nobody that's been bullying you at school is sitting at that judge's panel, and they're not judging your disability. In fact, they're judging you despite it. They don't care. It sounds harsh to say they don't care, but judges are trained professionals. They know that people have different abilities, and they know not to judge those abilities. Instead, they find the good in you, and they find, why are you strong enough to represent a title, and they run with that. So strengthen your really, really strong areas. Like I always had to strengthen interview, strengthen my evening gown, strengthen, other categories, photogenic. And because I felt insecure with swimsuit, probably not something I really did have to worry about, but I wanted to make myself feel better. So to make yourself feel better, go ahead and strengthen other areas of your competition, and then forget that you have a physical limitation, because the judges have. They're not worrying about it. They just want to pick the girl that can take the crown and run with it.
Absolutely. And great advice for everyone to believe in themselves and to believe that they can achieve it.
Yes.
Now, Kim, tell us, what do you plan to accomplish as today's American woman, Queen of Queens?
Well, there are so many things I hope to accomplish. We have started monthly missions where all of the queens go, and we every month do something together. Like this month, for example, we're collecting 100 cans each queen. We have about 30 queens. It's going to be 30,000 cans of food that we donate to homeless shelters. We have next month, we have blood donation. We have just a ton of monthly missions. I'm also attending 3 or 4, hopefully 4. I'm hoping to go to the Washington, D.C. if Barack Obama will allow it. National conventions for anti-bullying awareness, and speak about how it feels to be bullied and different ways to overcome bullying. And so that's a big platform. And then the third thing I really hope to do is take the lesson plans that I've written for my own school district and bring them to different states. And that way more schools can see what my school district has seen and been a really good impact in our school, that people are different, and they go through the lesson plans with the community caring program. And when they go through the lesson plans, the students, they really do seem to grow afterwards and seem to accept each other more. And so I'd like to take those plans, tweak them a little bit for each state, and then just tour the country and meet with as many educational professionals as I can and bring Tada into every classroom in America.
Incredible goals, and we're looking forward to seeing all of the fabulous things you accomplish as the title holder. Now, Kim, tell us, how can our viewers contact you?
Well, I have a Facebook. It's called Allie, A-L-L-I-E, May, Pageant Power, and that is my daughter, which we started a Facebook together. She's just a youngster, but she is absolutely a huge supporter of homelessness, and so we just decided that mom and daughter together, we're going to have a Facebook. So you can contact me through Allie May, Pageant Power. You can also contact me through pageantpower@yahoo.com, or through the national office at scpageants@hotmail.com. And I do have a Today's American Woman, Queen of Queens Facebook as well. So there's lots of ways you can get in touch with me, and I'd be more than happy to speak with people that are undergoing bullying, that just need a voice, they need someone to talk to, you need to vent. I speak to people all the time that just reach out to me, and no story and nothing is more important to me than you coming to me and telling me that you need help, because I will help you. And it can be on an individual basis or on a larger basis where people can ask me to come and speak at schools or at events, however they feel they could best utilize my skills and my message that I have to share.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. Your story is truly amazing, and you are an inspiration to many. We are looking forward to seeing all of the accomplishments during your reign. And to read more about Kim's story, please visit www.pageantliveaskthecrown.blogspot.com. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Ask the Crown. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.